tell you, Greenspun was a patriotic guy. And he translated patriotism and being a good American to the fact that you're supposed to do the right thing even if it's hard to do.
Look some of the things he did. He fought McCarthy, he fought the IRS.
We've been chatting with Hank Greenspun, who was never accused of not saying what he thinks. Publisher and owner of the Las Vegas Sun. Yes, we did call the IRS, and they declined an invitation to appear with Mr. Greenspun. Phil Donahue in Chicago, now back to the Today Show in New York.
I remember a photo once coming across the wire. It shows these three men walking through the streets of Jerusalem. And the caption says, you know, Begin, Sadat, an unidentified man. The unidentified man was Hank Greenspun. And you just never knew where he was or what he was doing.
In the mid-70s, Israel was under siege by its neighbors, armed with Soviet weapons. It seemed like every day we reported a new act of terrorism, a new threat of war. Something had to be done. The so-called peace process was going nowhere. Egyptian President Anwar Sadat had just taken a bold step towards making peace with Israel. But Egypt alone wouldn't solve the problem. Saudi Arabia was the key to getting the rest of the Arab world to recognize Israel's right to exist. 30 years ago, I was a gunrunner. This time, I'd be a peacemaker. I needed two partners I knew and trusted, an Israeli and a Saudi, men with connections willing to work under the cloak of secrecy. Al Shwimmer, my old Haganah co-conspirator, still had high-level contacts in the Israeli government. I called. He was in. And as for the Saudi, I had to look no further than the baccarat tables at the Sands.
He started telling me his history of helping the building of the State of Israel, and I was impressed. I think a man who spent all his life trying to create Israel, he doesn't want to see it destroyed. And he saw an opportunity that through my relationship with the Arab world, that he can open that channel of communication.
They talk about Khashoggi being a greedy arms merchant, trying to make money off the Middle East. That is not true. I happen to know Khashoggi. I brought Khashoggi into this whole thing. I personally brought Khashoggi in here.
Khashoggi met secretly with the Saudi king. The king agreed to make peace with Israel only if the Israelis gave the Saudis control of the Temple Mount, a Muslim holy site in Jerusalem. Khashoggi now needed to take that offer to Israel. I set up the meetings.
He opened the door to meet Perez, to meet Sharon, to meet all these people. Then it made it real.
Now Sadat needed to be brought into the loop.
We met with Sadat, at least I did, before he went to Jerusalem.
Sadat signed onto the plan.
And when Sadat arrived there, the flag of Saudi Arabia was on the mosque. So that showed me a sign of sincerity towards the approach of peace.
We did it. We accomplished what governments fail to do. We brokered the peace. Or so we thought. Our whole plan fell apart when a vicious Iraqi dictator named Saddam Hussein pressured the Saudis and the rest of the Arab world to reject what we had done. In the end, Egypt stood alone in recognizing the State of Israel. I had tried my hand at peacemaking and came so close. My interest in helping secure peace in the Middle East in the late 70s wasn't academic. The region was a potential flashpoint between the Soviet Union and the United States. A single misstep could trigger a nuclear war, and I had seen for myself what this war could look like.